Welcome to MHK All Day. I'm Megan Miller. To be or not to be, one of the quotes that decorated the grand halls of the Hale Library's Great Room. Move over, Harry Potter, Shakespeare is in town. There are currently signs on campus that tell people where they can and cannot smoke, but soon those signs may read no smoking. This year, kids could decorate things like Christmas trees, pine cones, and snowflakes, all to help tie in the nature theme of the exhibit that's currently at the museum. After a 3-hour-long standoff in this apartment building, most residents can return home, but one of them who lives just up those stairs came back to a complete disaster. This bridge in Excelsior Springs is just one that has been closed in this area. Earlier today, water was gushing over this rail through these holes, and you can still see some of the debris that the flood has left. Neighbors say this is the highest Fishing River has been since the flood of '93. Just 1 month cancer-free, Kansas City Chief Safety Eric Berry is officially cleared to practice with the team, and his story has become an inspiration to one local man who is still fighting the exact same cancer. The tradition of cheering for the Indians may soon change, but another tradition is here to stay. People have been celebrating Kansas for 155 years. January 29th is a special day to reflect on our history, and it's never too early to start. I spent my Kansas Day learning about how a local museum celebrates.
Oh, give me a home where the buffalo roam.
These kids are among many who call Kansas their home. And the Flint Hills Discovery Center gives them a chance to celebrate it every year.
Today's event was just a chance to celebrate Kansas, its 155th birthday. We had a bunch of Kansas-themed activities for preschoolers, so a lot of interactivity.
And the kids weren't the only ones learning.
I'm new to Kansas. I moved here for the job from out of state, so in the time that I took to prepare for this event, I was myself learning about Kansas.
The official song of Kansas.
For the past few years, Kansas Day has been such a hit that the Discovery Center split it into 2 days.
We opened it first to preschoolers in the area and then opened it up to the public. We had about 150 kids in attendance both days.
On both days, there were 6 stations with hands-on activities.
Well, I was at the station for Home on the Range, so I was going to lead all the kids in singing and doing a little dance that goes along with Home on the Range.
As kids visited the different stations, they got to learn more about their home state. They even got to meet some of Kansas wildlife, like these honeybees.
We chose the honeybee because that is the state insect, so it gave kids a chance to learn more about it. We also chose the box turtle because that's a state reptile, so a chance to learn more about that.
Although the Kansas Day stations were educational, the kids also got to play and explore the Discovery Center.
My favorite part is seeing the kids smile. When you get a group of kids who come here for a special event like this, they're really excited, they're ready to go, and when they're done, they leave with these big smiles on their faces, and it makes my day.
The Flint Hills Discovery Center is open to the public every day with both permanent and temporary exhibits. You can check their website for more information on special programs. For MHK All Day, I'm Megan Miller. Kansas Day may be over, but you can still check the Flint Hills Discovery Center's website for information on other special programs. There are some great opportunities for kids in Manhattan. This area is also home to experts who can make sure your kids are getting the most out of their free time. Are you getting the best toys for your children? Caitlin Heyer tells us why you might not want to get your kids this year's coolest toy for their birthday. The halfway house has left neighbors fully angry. Here at City Hall, they're looking for a resolution, but there is no current law in Kansas governing where sex offenders can and cannot live. Residents say the neighborhood has not been the same. Streets that are normally filled with kids are deserted. Basketball courts and pools are empty, and bikes are left unattended. Ever since one Edwardsville neighborhood received some new residents.
Now it's different, everything's different.
Neighbors say things began to change when they started receiving alerts saying there were 4 nearby sex offenders, all in one rental home.
It's 2 sex offenders, an ex-murderer, and then rapist. It's just, overwhelming.
Residents rush to City Hall with questions, and they are still waiting for answers because there is no statewide rule saying where sex offenders can and can't live.
I think everybody should have rights, but right now it seems like they have more rights than we do. And I think that's a little unfair.
While the city is still looking for a resolution, people are making changes to their daily routines.
The house is locked all the time. We never used to. In fact, my next door neighbor never has locked his house.
Neighbors and police confirm there have been 0 issues so far.
It's like all you can do is do the best you can on making sure that nothing happens and protect them that way. But
The City Council will meet again in a few weeks, but for now, residents are keeping an eye on their kids. Reporting live from Edwardsville, I'm Meagan Miller. To be or not to be? That was the question when K-State's English department applied to host Shakespeare's first folio.
200 publishers were recently interviewed and concluded that this was one of the 5 most important books in the history of the world. 5 most important books published in the history of the world. So, got one here to look at. The size of the book was a measure of its status as an important book. So when Shakespeare's buddies, his actor buddies, Hemmings and Condell, decided that 7 years after he died, they would celebrate his works and save them, basically, because half of the works would have been lost if they had not done that.
Shakespeare's folio is traveling to all 50 states, and the Kansas venue is right here in Manhattan.
We put together an application, 115-page application, sent it off, and then about a year ago, they announced that we were the Kansas awardee of the exhibit. So it was very competitive, but we won for K-State. And apparently they tell me that we had one of the ideal sort of applications of more things going on here and well thought out, we think, involving the campus, the community. The whole community is involved in this.
The first folio is part of the exhibit that is currently at the Beach Museum of Art, but it did not travel alone. Once the committee found out Manhattan would host the exhibit, other groups like McCain Auditorium got involved and brought actors to the Little Apple, all the way from the London stage.
So we're doing a production of A Midsummer Night's Dream. We're a company of 5 actors from the London stage. It's a company, an English company, that has been going for 40 years, so it's their 40th anniversary, so it all works out very well with the first folio.
These 5 actors are currently on a tour of the United States, stopping at universities to do shows and host workshops for students.
It works backwards into your own soul. And that kind of stuff is, I guess, what we as actors can bring to students that maybe a more traditional academic setting can't. So it's that access between the emotional and the beautiful language and the beautiful images that he creates.
Both the actors and professors involved hope to get students engaged.
So why are people, interested in this stuff? Well, going to the shows, watching the characters, listening to the lines, reading them sometimes on your own, creates a whole world of understanding about human existence. And people have been fascinated by this. This is the kind of way of expanding your education in a valuable way.
First Folio has brought many events here to the community, but make sure you check out the London stage performance of A Midsummer Night's Dream on Friday, February 5th at 7:30 in McCain. For MHK All Day, I'm Meagan Miller.